That
I wasn't expecting it. Like if you told me like a couple years ago that they're gonna be collabing with Off-White, I'd be like, why?
Welcome everybody to another episode of Out of the Box, and you've got me, Elvira, and we have Johnny, and we have Chloe, and today we're going to be talking about, well, I'm going to copy Trish here and be like, it's our hot topics, and we're going to be talking about the Off-White Monster High collab, and there are 4 dolls in this line, but before we dive in to all of the details, let's jump to Chloe. When you first saw these images, what was your first thought?
Hi everyone. So I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like them. I thought it was like it I didn't know what it was. The first
Okay.
I think they did like a little video like to promote them and then like pictures. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a custom situation. And then I started seeing everybody posting about it and talking about it. I'm like, oh, it's Monster High. It's the Off-White collection that they had been talking about. And I saw them and I was just like, I don't know. They're not like calling me.
Were
And
you a
then,
little like
yeah,
underwhelmed by the overall designs or like just of
yes,
them?
yes. The designs to me are, I mean, if you're like a really like hardcore, like off-white lover, and you know the fashions and all this and that, then I think that's a nice little treat for you to know what they're wearing. But I personally don't know any of the looks that they're wearing. And when I saw them, I thought they were kind of weird. But I mean, that's fashion, right? But to me, it was just like, okay. I wasn't expecting this from
So you
Off
weren't
White.
like
I don't know what I was
thrilled by
expecting.
them. Okay. Johnny, do
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
agree with that? Are you oh my gosh, I need them the first second you saw them, or are you still kind of on the fence? You're like, I don't know. I'm like
No, okay. So when I first saw them, I was kind of like Chloe. I'm like, what is this? I thought at first I thought they were like glow in the dark dolls of pre-existing characters. I thought like, there was like a Rochelle. I thought there was
Ooh.
Frankie. I thought they were like already pre-existing. I'm like, oh, these are original characters. The fashion is okay. I'm not a big fan of what they're wearing. I'm not gonna get any of them because they're just not for me. I don't really know much about Off-White either. I don't know what it is much other than like a clothing like design brand. But I don't know, they looked weird to me at first. Like now seeing the pictures of like the actual dolls, I do like them a bit more, but they are very polarizing. If you
Yeah.
guys like read some of the comments on like the posts and stuff that people were posting, oh my god, it was a storm in the comments. There's people love them, people a lot of people didn't like them though. That's what I got from looking at the comments is like most of it was pretty bad, but I think people come around whenever they see the actual product, which happened
Yes.
today, so more people are like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I like this now. I like this now." I do appreciate the designs. I appreciate that the it looks more quality than we actually see from Monster High. Like, Monster High has the stretch fabric. They're
Mhm.
trusty stretch fabric. So I'm glad we're getting like these good quality fabrics. We're getting textiles. Those shoes
Mhm.
are incredible. So I really appreciate them for showing quality, but just for me personally, they don't spark anything in me to wanting to have them.
I mean, I initially, when the first couple of pictures leaked, I'm in the same page with both of you where I was like, wait, is this a custom? What is this related to? And then as I saw more images coming out, I understood, I was like, oh, it's a collab with this company called Off-White. For those of you who are not familiar, the dolls, there are 4 of them. I'll read all of their names and post pictures here. There's Electro Melody, which is the sea monster. And I apologize if I mess up any of these names. Harmony Ghoul, which is the Franken monster. There's Symphony Midnight, a ghostly spirit, and then Raven Rhapsody, which is the gargoyle. And now all 4 of them were launched today, which is October 11th, at the Off-White physical locations, like their physical stores. Beginning October 13th, the first doll, which is Electric Melody, the sea monster, will be released on Mattel Creations, and then every doll will come out a month after that until they're all out. Um, I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm 100% cool with the fact that all 4 were available in the physical locations because A, there's not a lot of physical locations out there. So it made
Mhm.
it hard for people who genuinely wanted all to get them. I feel like a lot of people who are going to the locations, I think it's great. I'm glad that even some of my friends were able to go do that and pick up the ones that were their favorites. But I feel like it limits the opportunity for people who are collectors to really get them right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was maybe something contractually with the Off-White line, you know, like, oh, they have to be in the stores first. I do love their boxes. Like, I feel like packaging wise, I love that in the box they look like a store display. And I honestly, I hate to say it, I'm extremely attracted to the box. Like,
We
I
love it.
think I'm really leaning towards the box. I think it's very innovative. I like that you can have it displayed and you could have it on a pedestal and it could be either a store display or something that you could share in your home in a museum or like, I don't know, just something about the packaging I thought was very interesting. And I like that it is something that can be displayed and gives you the feeling of like, ooh, this is a luxury piece at a luxury store.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, my personal favorite is Symphony Midnight, the ghostly spirit, which is the one in the black like gown with the green face and the long black hair. I know the two of you aren't like hardcore, you know, into them right now, but if you were to pick one, is there one that kind of stands out a little bit for either of you?
Yeah. Yeah. So over time, as I've seen more and more of them, they have, not all of them, they have grown a little bit on me. I see details and things that I really, really like. I'm in between Symphony and Raven. Those two
Ooh,
are
okay.
like, yeah, the gargoyle, that's Raven, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I'm
got her
between
bio
those
up
two.
here too.
I like those the most. I'm personally not getting any of them just because one, the price point is, you know, this is a luxury doll, so they're of course expensive, $150 each, which is a lot. It's a lot. And with the holidays coming up, I have other things on my list that I could get with those $150. Like I could get a lot of things for $150. So I'm not getting any of them, but you know, to each their own. But if I was to get one of them, it would be one of those two. I like one of those two. Those are
And what
cute.
draws
Yeah.
you to Raven, for example? Do you just like the gargoyle aesthetic? Does it remind you a little bit maybe of like Rochelle?
Yeah, that's why. Because it reminds me of Rochelle, but I like that her wings are bigger. I
Mm-hmm.
found
I love
that
that too.
detail really, really nice. And then also, I like that her outfit was, I think, out of all of them, in my opinion, the more wearable one. Like, I could see
Okay.
someone wearing that on like a casual date. Like one of like the fashion girlies, I can see them wearing that like on a casual date.
Well, that
I
makes
don't know if
sense.
it's the hat or something, but yeah.
That particular outfit is inspired from their 2017 businesswoman collection. So maybe everyday businesswoman, I can kind of see why you're probably, and I even looking at it, it looks a little more streetwear compared to like
Mm-hmm.
the other two have like ball gowns. The one has more like a dress, like a club dress. So I can kind of see that aesthetic. Johnny, is there one that maybe kind of stands out for a little bit that you're like, well, maybe at the right price I would have bought it?
Yeah, for me, if I was to rank them, the number one on my list is Harmony. I really like the dress, the texture, like the details of the dress. It's like I like it. I There's this shirt I've been eyeing and it's like that same textile. So I like that. I like the dress that it's long. I like the bag. The bag is really cute with the gold
Mhm.
chain. So
Mm-hmm.
she caught my eye first out of all the other ones, and I think that's my favorite one. I'm probably still not gonna get her, but that's that's the most appealing one in my opinion. That one, yeah. I
Yeah.
My least favorite one has to be the witch looking one with the skull. I don't know. It looks weird to me.
Oh, the symphony one, the ghostly spirit. I
I
do
like
agree.
that
The
the
dress,
outfit is pretty. I love the outfit.
I see. I'm more attracted to the dress than anything else.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's one of those things where you either love luxury brands or hate them. I feel like there's not too many people that I know that are like, oh my gosh, like I'm totally cool with luxury brands. It's like either you get it or you don't, or you want to buy stuff like that or you don't. And I totally
Yeah.
understand that. For me, I love the idea that they decided to go in a direction where it was a high-end brand, that they didn't just partner with like, I don't know, what's a I don't want to like insult any like clothing brands out there with something very like, yeah, like, hey, there's this line at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
they
Five
decided to
Below
go with
collab.
something high end. Yeah, they decided to go with a
Yeah.
high end collab. I mean, I'm not particularly an off-white fan. I would have preferred to go with like Prada or something more where I think the name's more where people are like, oh, I've heard that more. I feel like Off-White
Yeah.
is high end, but it's not as everyday as like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, the more commonly placed named luxury brands that we tend to hear more frequently.
I think they went with Off-White because maybe it had to do with like contracts and stuff like that. Because yeah, we've heard of like Gucci, Louis, Prada, like the more, I guess like the more known high-end brands. We know them, right? But we don't know how collabs with them work. Does that
They
make sense?
probably
And I
wanted too
think,
much money.
yeah, and I also think like Off-White is like one of those like luxury. It's kind of like when Bratz did the GCDS. I feel like not a lot of people knew GCDS. If you knew, you knew.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, you didn't. And I feel like it's the same thing right now with Off-White. Like if you know, you know, and if you don't, now you know because of
Yeah.
Monster High. It's
Yeah.
very much that, I think. I think it's that
I
personally.
wonder if like I mean the brand does of course sell high-end items. I wonder if that would benefit their sales long term by collabing with like a doll brand, you know, kind of like you said with Bratz, what they did with their high-end doll collab. You know, if that would help their sales long term of maybe getting people to, you know, shy away from if someone is going to splurge and buy a high-end bag, like let's say a $1,500 Gucci bag, well, maybe now they'll buy an Off-White bag because they're a doll collector and Off-White collabed with Monster High, and they'll be maybe more inclined to, you know, save their pennies and buy something like this really high end.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'll see that type of like longevity out. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so though. I think people are just gonna buy the doll. I don't know. Do you think do you notice a lot of people buy the I'm gonna probably say it wrong. GCDS. Like, did you notice anybody buying their clothes because of the Bratz collab?
I didn't. I personally
I
didn't,
didn't see
but it
anybody either. Yeah.
did. I already knew of the brand before the collab, just like I know about Off-White before the collab. And I, out of the two brands, I would shop more GCDS over Off-White,
Yeah.
only because I prefer the styles of GCDS over Off-White. I
Mm.
think it also depends on your personal style and what you like to wear. So, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of like, am I more inclined to buy something from the brand because they collaborated with a brand that I like? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a
I
tough one.
guess.
Tough one. Like I was thinking like if Monster High was not to collab with Off-White, who would they collab with, right? And obviously I don't really see them going with a brand like Gucci. I just don't see the monochromatic like logos all over the whole dress. Like I just don't see that working for the Monster High brand. I would have liked to see them collab with maybe something that is more of a goth style. Unfortunately, I think you get a lot of controversy like Blackcraft is a very, I don't want to say commonplace alternative brand, but they tend to lean more towards a controversial like imagery that I think would work in a monster type of world, but then I think isn't as safe. So I think Monster High wanted something high end, wanted something that was maybe a little bit more sleek looking. So they decided to go in like and they went with a black, white aesthetic outfits that kind of fit but weren't a goth brand or an alternative brand that might stir up controversy in any way that would shy people away from purchasing the doll. I would have liked to have seen that. I would have rather them done something with like, you know, like I don't know, Blackcraft or Creepsville or you know any of those alternative brands. I think that would have been cool because I would have been like, oh my god, look how edgy that is. And they made like a vampire doll and she's wearing like this like oversized hoodie with like fishnets and like you know very something wearable in that sense.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen that personally. That would have been something I would have rather seen was like Creepsville or, you know, like Heavy Red, which was a really super old brand, which I don't even know if they're around anymore, but like more of an alternative brand. Is there any brand that you would have liked to have seen Johnny Monster High collab with?
Uh, I have two answers for this. So I have one that's like I like Versace. So I think Versace, because Rainbow High does it. They do like the little Versace symbols.
Mm-hmm.
And, like they reference it a lot, and then I feel like it works well with dolls. And I feel like that would be a nice. It's more recognizable. I'm pretty sure it would be more expensive, but that's something I would like to see. And then something that's more like I guess more economical. I don't know, but like which isn't a bad thing because that Nicki Minaj Kmart collab that was good. But I was like thinking, and Monster High and like Hot Topic are besties. So I'm like, they could collab with Hot
Why
Topic.
didn't they do Hot
Because
Topic? I feel like
they already
that
make
would,
backpacks, they make clothes. Just collab and make a doll. Just make.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like that would work well, and maybe they could do. They never came out with those like in the Monster High movies. They had humans. Like actually, they went to the human world. They should have the humans, but like dress them in like vintage Hot Topic, like very punk, very emo. I feel like that would work really well.
Yes. I
Like
would have
maybe
loved
a line
that.
that's like humans and some of the monsters. I feel like that would work really well.
That's a
I
good
could see
point.
that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, not to diss, I mean, like I remember like Miley Cyrus collabed and I think she did a Walmart line, didn't she?
Yeah.
Like this has to be 15, 16 years ago, but I know she did. I am pretty sure it was at Walmart. So I mean, not saying anything like you can't collab with an everyday line. I'm just saying like I think what would have fit the aesthetic of Monster High and who's the clientele. I agree with you. I think Hot Topic would have been more, it would have sold more. I think people would have thought it would be like, I would be like, oh, it's kind of like, I don't know, camp, like, oh, you're shopping at Hot Topic. It's
Yes.
a Monster High doll.
More
I feel like
accessible
it would have
too.
been more organic
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not dissing Off-White. I don't hate the Off-White company brand, anything. It's just another high-end brand.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Like I wasn't shocked, but I'm also not excited. I just like the symphony doll just because I like the big black gown. I was like, oh, that's cute. And that's about where it ended for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if we're sticking into the higher end luxury brands, a brand that I could see Monster High collaborate with would be Moschino, because Moschino
Ooh.
has collections tailored to specific things, right? We saw the Barbie Moschino collection. We've seen a couple versions, and every time it works. Why?
Mhm.
Because it's Barbie. Moschino came out with a Halloween collection not too
Yes,
long ago,
yes.
and they're like costumes, right? So wouldn't it have been really cool to see the Monster High dolls dressed as another quote unquote monster, but it's just a fashion? I
Oh,
think
I
that would have worked.
love that.
I think that would have worked. I would have loved to see that. And Mattel has worked with Moschino before, so it wouldn't be that out of the box for them to work with them again. And I
That's,
think it would have
I
worked.
love
I think it would
that.
have worked. I think that
Mhm.
would have worked. Could you imagine? I can already picture the looks because they came out with like ghost purses and
Yeah, I
like the
remember
little
in the pumpkin
jack-o'-lantern.
bag and like,
hmm
I
And
love
it
that.
reminded it's a Raven. Yeah, the Raven one, that's what reminded me of that collection, the Moschino one, because of the hat with the horns. They Moschino also came out with a hat with like little devil horns. And I was like, oh my God, I could see that happening. I see that. I think that's like one of the luxury ones where I'm like, oh, I can see that. That would have been really cool to see.
I wonder if
Personally for
because
me.
maybe they're in a moment of transition because Jeremy Scott, who was the head designer for there for years, just stopped. I think his,
I believe so.
what was it, last season was his last one that he did. So maybe it was too much of a transitional period and they maybe wanted to keep the Barbie aesthetic that they did. I think that was like 5, 6 years ago, separate from the Monster High world. But I agree with you though. I feel like that would have been a really even more natural kind of thing because they're like, oh, you did Barbie before. I would have loved to have seen that. I think that would have been more of a creative fit because Moschino
Yeah.
can be a little over the top, like silverware on the dress. You know what I mean? Like things that are already kind of avant-garde. And I think that would have
Yes.
maybe worked a little bit better. Oh, I really love that one.
Yeah. No, I think I literally like I could see it because of the collections. Like even how right now with Monster High they did 4 dolls, which I personally me, I think that's excessive. At
Yeah.
$150, I don't have $600 to drop on 4 dolls. That's rent
Yeah.
for me. And that's what I told my sister. I was like, if I'm not buying anything from the brand for $600, what makes you think I'm gonna spend $600 on 4 dolls?
Yeah.
No, right? But with
Mhm.
Moschino, I could see them even picking 4 dolls if they wanted to do that and picking a collection for each doll. And that would have been really interesting. And I know they also did a burning ballroom collection where all the gowns were burned. That would have been really amazing on a Monster High doll. A burnt ball
Mhm.
gown. Yeah.
They
I mean,
need to
there's just
just
so
hire
much.
us.
There's just so much.
Give them
They also
ideas.
did the punk ballerina collection, and oh my God, that screams Monster High. Punk ballerina, yes, please. I
Mhm.
don't know, or I think it was biker ballerina, if I'm not mistaken. But I could just see that more in the Monster universe than Off White. I don't know. Again, yeah, it's nothing against the brand. Like, cool, to each their own, but it's just not for me.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe they were trying to do this to show that they don't have to be put into like, oh, is it Monster High? Hot Topic. Maybe they didn't want to be pigeonholed in that. They're like, it's Monster High, but we can be different in that extent. Maybe they were trying to get themselves out of like being pigeonholed almost, which I don't really see that as a problem. But I don't know. It's very
Mm.
interesting. I wonder, again, today was the first day of the physical store launch. I wonder how it's going to be. I still think it's going to sell out on Friday. I know as much as
Yeah.
we say about the Monster High collector dolls, they always end up selling out. As much as I
Hmm.
always see like all the opinions of everyone going, I hate every single doll that comes out. They always sell out. They always
They
do.
do.
I feel like the 150 price point you're paying because of the packaging. I think the packaging
Hmm.
is so over the top, like very luxury. I love the display type of aspect. I think that's why it's so expensive. Also to pay for the licensing usage.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
the
mean,
details, they are very detailed, especially I will say one positive thing, the little purses that the dolls come with, gorgeous. Need them all.
mhm.
So gorgeous. I love that. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, you're paying for the name. You're paying for another name,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bigger name.
Two
Yeah.
names and what, which is it's interesting because I went to the Off-White Instagram, not on the Monster High Instagram. I went to the Off-White Instagram and looked at the comments. I'm like, let me see what the average Off-White person that knows nothing about Monster High is commenting. And a lot of the comments were like, what is this? Or like, why is this a doll? Or like, they were so confused. They're like, why are you collabing with Monster High? They're like Monster High was like so many years ago. It was so interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even
They were
realize that
so
Monster High is back.
confused.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, to not someone who's outside, it's hard to think that someone's not in the collector world. But like, I mean, they like someone out of the collector world, like they're probably going like, I don't understand. Like, I agree with you. I don't understand the collab. Why is it designed like this? Why are popular popular off-white fashions being put on two monster looking dolls and not a Barbie? You know what I mean? I think off-white would have
Hmm.
probably done better on a Barbie. I could see that. I could see some of these gowns being on a Barbie more. I don't know,
Yeah.
like, because they're not monstrous looking fashions. Like, I agree with you, like, Chloe, with like the Moschino thing, where like they have very over the top, creative looking dresses that are extremely out there. I don't know. It's interesting. I think they're still going to sell out. Will they be Monster High's biggest hit? I don't think so.
Because I don't think it's just a thing where it appeals to both on both sides. Like I don't think the Off-White fans are like, I need to get this because it's Off-White. I don't think that's a thing. But like the Monster
Yeah.
High fandom wants them, the Off-White. I don't, well, maybe there is, but I don't think for the majority, like from what I've seen in the comments, I don't think they're like, they're confused. They're like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna play this. Yeah.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're gonna
We'll
sell out.
see.
They're
Regardless,
gonna
yeah,
Yeah.
sell out.
regardless, it's Monster High, guys.
Yeah,
It sells out.
they always sell out. Well,
They're always selling out.
except for Midnight Runway Frankie. She's still
Shade,
available.
shade.
I mean, facts are facts. Uh,
She's still there. She's still there.
Is
Mm-hmm.
I
she?
mean,
Like, is she?
to each their own. I mean, this is interesting. It's an interesting collaboration
Yeah,
overall.
I agree with that.
I wasn't expecting it. Like if you told me like a couple years ago that they're gonna be collabing with Off-White, we're like, why?
Yeah.
It's just it's very
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just I would have never expected it. I would have never guessed it. That's
Me
something I
neither.
would have
I
guessed.
think, yeah, I agree with you. I think certain brands exude the feel of the doll line.
Hmm.
I don't feel the connection with these two. I think that's what it is. I look at other collaborations with dolls and they work. Like I mentioned, the Barbie Moschino, that worked. The Bratz Colt Gaia, the Bratz GCD, that works. I can see Bratz and Barbie. I can see it with Monster High. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Mm-mm. But I love that we did do this episode on a week of when something was coming out. So we're talking about a topic while it's currently happening. I
Oh
love
yes, you need to
that.
let us know in the comments below if you were able to order whatever her name is that came out today. I don't know
That
the
one
name.
doll that's $150 on the website. Did you
The
get
one with the mohawk.
it? Yeah.
or comment down below and let us know if you went to the shop and picked up all four.
I know.
I
I'm
think it
wondering
was
if
one.
someone
It
did
was
get
one
all
per
four.
person, so I don't think they were able to even buy all four.
I think you were able. Oh, you know what? I don't know because I did see someone mention, I
That
think
they
in
were
the
only able
stories,
to get
or
one. Yeah, they were only able to choose
that
one
if
of the
they were able to,
characters. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
they weren't even able
Oh.
to get if I'm correct, I'm not 100% sure, but I saw on Instagram that someone posted, I don't know if it's the same person, but
Like,
that
was it?
they were only able to choose one out of the four because there was one per person.
Really interesting. See, now that's not fair. I feel like if you're a collector and you drove or flew all the way to an off-white location to buy all four dolls because that was the only place that all four dolls would be available at the same time, I'd be mad.
You know what? We need some inside tea. We should ask Clawdeena.
I know, because they actually went
Maybe they
to
don't.
off-white location.
Yeah.
I thought about it because there's one in Miami, but I'm like, do I want to drive that far for one? Like, because the only one I would want is the Symphony one. I was like, it's not worth driving. No.
Yeah.
But if I was close to a location, I would have hopped just to see the vibe. Like, were people buying it? Was there a line? Like, I would have done it just to go check it out. But yeah, no, I don't know. Interesting. Also, everyone, don't forget that the Doll Awards are still happening and they're coming up soon. We're looking at, I think, like almost like, gosh, like 2 months. It's going to be all live. I can't believe it. All of the categories are up. Voting will be wrapped up October 29th. Am I saying the wrong date?
No, you're right. October
29th is the last day to go onto the Instagram and vote. So yes, at the Doll Awards. Go check it out. Make sure to put in all of your votes. One vote, please, per category. We will just be do not try like everything because that just makes it hard on the
if you like every post, it just basically cancels out your vote.
Yes, I mean that's just
Yeah.
So make sure you read the category, pick the one that you really want, and like that one. It makes life so much easier in the counting end of it. But yes, don't forget that it's coming up, and we greatly appreciate everybody with all of the, sharing. Please share all of the, your favorite ones. We want people to really, I don't know, get in their opinions and votes on this. And we're just, of course, trying to grow the Doll Awards more and more every year. So we greatly appreciate everyone's positive feedback. So until next time, make sure to follow us here. We have Out of the Box every week where we pick different topics. Next week, we're going to be picking another hot topic item, a doll that has been floating around on the Instagram universe, and talk about that. So I'm very excited. So we'll see if anyone in the comments guesses what it is. But yeah, I think the Off-White Monster High thing is interesting. I think that is the opinion for all three of us. It's interesting.
Interesting.
I agree with that word.
Interesting. Until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Bye.